It is live, and I am here all alone in what might be my office. Welcome to the first open office hours for the U Show. Don't know if anybody will come, but that's okay. I'm not going to sit here bored in my office. I did plan a little bit of a walking web tour of all the things we've been throwing at you. Mainly set this up for people who are going to be open participants. Because quite a bit of our activities that Brian and I have come up with are geared at facilitating interaction with people here on the ground at Thompson Rivers University in beautiful Kamloops. I should turn this around a little bit so you can see. You can't see because of the exposure, but it's the first time I've seen the sun in 2 weeks, and that is rather amazing, if you will. So if you happen to be watching this over on the Google Plus page, I did try to put a link so you could come into here if that's really what you want. I don't know necessarily that anybody does want that. So sometimes, all the time, Google Hangouts, I feel like it's the first time I ever used it. So on the Google Plus page and over on YouTube, you can actually watch, and that's a lot of what happens in these Hangouts. You create a place where people can watch a group of people have a conversation. But if you want to join in or ask questions, you have to come inside the office here. It looks kind of like an office. There's the door. The door is closed, but the office is open. So my plan is just to do some walkthrough of the websites and things that are going on, because we have thrown a lot, and actually we are definitely building the show as we fly. So things still may have some wet paint, or some office doors may not open, links may not work, and there's still things that we really want to add to the experience. At the same time, people are just getting used, a lot of them, first time they've ever done blogging. There's a lot of posts in there about how they dread this sort of thing. And so there's a ramp up time for a lot of people, because the whole experience and the mechanics are rather new to them. So since it's about 5 after, it's good stuff. Get your cup of coffee. And I guess I will just do my shtick here. And I will see if anybody comes. That's okay. If not, doesn't matter. I could certainly entertain myself here. And it's sort of a helpful reminder to try to show the things that we have together. I started doing this when I taught DS-106 as an online class, as a way, that students, could, ask questions as they were dealing with creating all their media, working on their website. And it's somewhat effective because I could share my screen. A couple times students would share their screen so I could talk them through how to do things. And it kind of can give, hopefully, somewhat of a presence or a dethence, if you will, to what's going on in a class where a lot of times your work is completely asynchronous. So I'm just checking the Twitters one more time, that just make sure no one's saying, I can't find the Hangout. But obviously people have much better things to do on this fine sunny day. So let's see which window I want to screen share. I always want to know if there's a way to do this. Probably should have done a different browser. That would avoid the Inception series of screen. Yes, get my thing open in a new tab. So going over to the website. And so Let's make this a little bit smaller so maybe we can fit this in. So this obviously is a website. This is where all the action is at. So that's pretty obvious. The things that will go by on the banners on the top, those are generally, some of the most current information. So there's the intro video that Brian and I did playing around with our green screen. This is the stuff we're asking people to do for the first week or unit, where we talk about the shape of stories. We have our intro video where we kind of set the stage for these goofy videos that Brian and I think we can do, and a little bit of example of what we're going to try to do through the guidebook. And each one of those does link when you click on the title. Just so you know what's on this page, just a walkthrough of everything. So about is generally the thing that tells you about the site, but it's actually what we call the pitch. Explaining the idea that we have for doing this, and some of the important other pages that we have here that are related to this, including, already forgetting where my links are. So we call the crew call. We're using the film metaphor. It's just some questions about how things are going to work and how to get started, which some of you are already in. We have a page called How to Participate, which many people have already gone through. When you get to the bottom of this page, I'm already forgetting where my links are. You're going to get to a sign-up form, and this is the place where when you're ready to connect into the U Show, it's a form that will ask you for a Twitter account. Mainly just because I use that as a unique identifier on the site when we add your blog. We're not going to arm twist people to have Twitter. You probably should. It's a good thing. It's the best way to know what's going on, and it's a good experience if you haven't done Twitter, so you can know whether the people who are crazy about it are truly crazy, or perhaps if it does have some value. So go with an open mind. This is the form that people use when they want to add their information to the site. So we ask for your Twitter name, your email, just in case I have to ask you a question, whether you're from TRU. These things change, which I like about Gravity forms. Like, I'm an open participant. This field changes. So we ask for your organizational affiliation and what you think you're going to do here. And then the big stuff, you need to have a blog. So for example, this is one that I'm setting up because I'm actually doing the class that I'm teaching. So this is Mickey. Let's go over to Cogdog. I have so many of these sites now that I forget what's going on. So this is my site. So it actually put the address for the site, which of course is the home page. And then the part that really gets trippy and still confuses people, and I know it's confusing, and we're always trying to make this better, but you got to find this thing called an RSS feed. It's different from the address of the site. So I've got this thing called the magic box that opens in another tab. And you may care or not care what's going on here, but more or less you put your blog's URL on here and you're looking for this thing called an RSS feed, and shaboomy, we found one. This is the magic thing. And you can actually look at this, and if it looks like this, like mumbo jumbo code, you've done things right. But basically that is the address that you need when you go to the form. It's different from the feed for the site. If you make a mistake or you don't understand, just say, I don't get this, and we'll figure it out for you. We do that sort of thing. So we have a building resource that we'll be adding to with just information that will help you do things. So three major sections. You may recognize the graphic if you've done DS106. I reuse my own stuff. That's from the handbook. So three major sections, concepts and ideas, large things, things to help you. I call a narrative process. So we had this post called Showing Your Work Like a Champ, which talks about, typically when I'm teaching a course like this, the things that I'm looking for in a blog post, like a pretty interesting title, talking about the backstory behind it, and how you did things. So this piece will grow. We've got a sort of an orientation for people who are just entering this when they're thinking about which blog to use. So there's a where to blog, some things like thinking about the title and URL, picking the platform. So we don't care what you use. You can use WordPress.com. You can get your own domain and install WordPress yourself. That's a lot, but certainly something we encourage. Or for those at TRU, we're actually hosting some folks on a site that we call the True Box or TRU Box. Just add a new theme on here just to make it a little more sensible. It's just a sandbox. We're running some experimental things here. And these are all the sites. These are ones that have been added. Some of them were created for this course, obviously you show, but we have 1, 2, 3, that's a demo on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Brian has 2 because he's Brian. So 11 people so far are running right on the TRU site. But you can use Blogger, you can use Tumblr. I see somebody using Weebly, which works. It does have an RSS feed. So there's a number of things that you can use. These are the 3 that we recommend because they have the most features that they want. And then you talk about filling out the form, blah, 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 blah. And then we have the series of videos that Brian and I have been doing. We tend to think they're a lot of fun. You might think they're annoying, but we're sort of playing with this idea of us being these characters on camera. We call it the front stage. And so we're the host. And the guys in the beginning are not all that knowledgeable. They're kind of goofy. They don't really know much about the technology. And this week's episode, we're talking about the shape of stories. We're actually doing a little bit of green screen with Kurt Vonnegut in the background there. And Brian playfully shows up in a green shirt, which of course doesn't work because he becomes part of the screen. And then we've got these guys in the back, which are us. They're the techie guys, and they're a little bit dismissive, but they sort of help out with some of the more technical topics. So we're playing with the idea of a front stage, like your blog is your front stage, and then the backstage where you sort of talk about what you do and how you did things. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but I'm having a heck of a lot of fun doing this. I also have a series, because I'm trying to model this, where I'm going to talk about the making of each episode, and I'm already a post behind because I haven't done the one for episode 1, but this was in the first one where I talked about, like, I did a couple sketches and hand drew a logo, some things about the technology. This is me and Brian in the back closet of his apartment, which we used as the set for the show, and then just some screenshots of the iMovie interface. So we're trying to do a little bit of background, foreground, participation, etc. But going back to ye old homepage, flip back here, see if anybody's showing up. No, just me, just me. Anyhow, so at the bottom, we're syndicating in stuff from all these blogs that are signing up. So when you fill out the form, what we're actually doing is we're keeping a list of your sites, and we use that RSS feed. So we check your site. Actually, we kind of come knocking at your door once an hour and say, do you have anything new? And usually it's no, because unless you write one thing an hour. But if there is a new post, we more or less make a copy of it. We don't steal it. Well, we're sort of stealing it. We're just making a copy of it and putting it on our site. So we have a copy of everybody's site, but it goes out, the links, instead of being on our site, it actually goes out to the site it came from. So on the front page, I've designed it, rather than just having the 8 most recent post, I kind of got inside and monkeyed around to change it so it's 8 random posts. So every time you reload this, hopefully we'll see how true my randomness is. Yeah, the 8 will shuffle, and it's looking for ones within the last 2 weeks. So you'll notice that some of them have nice pictures on them, and that's because these people have pictures included in the body of their post. These other ones, and it actually says if your post included an image, you'd see it here. So if you use an image in your post, it'll make an icon on this front page. And so when we go to one of these posts, instead of going to a link on our site, we actually go out to the post that you started. So here's Thomas. Let's get the party started. He's just like introducing himself. He's looking forward to exploring this. I like that he's giving credit to where the image comes from. He's using this nice party image on the front page. Very good work, Thomas, giving credit. Terry Elliott, who I got to know in Connected Courses, is sort of, he does a lot of really creative things. Definitely worth reading how Terry thinks and what he does. Very creative with using a lot of media tools, expressing himself in multimedia forms, and also a damn fine thinker. So thanks to Terry for jumping in, who is, I already forget where Terry's from, somewhere on the East Coast of the US. So this is kind of just a sampling of what's coming in. If you go to the link on the bottom where it says see all syndicated posts, these are all in chronological order. So the most recent story, a number of them are mine because I've been trying to do some demonstrating work. But here's a nice post from, I think it's Jay Radney, who's the learning coach, who writes about responding to my presentation about the shape and structure of stories, and talking about his experience in learning about the key thing in this is called the inciting incident. And that's the thing that takes people from their known world, which is where you set off in the beginning, where every day this person did this, every day something that. There's something always that happens that knocks people off of that path, and that's called the inciting incident. So to think about that inciting incident for Jay is an idea to help him think about maybe perhaps what's going to be the inciting incident for a class he teaches, etc. So interesting thoughts there. Some people are writing, it looks like some TRU people are practicing publishing some of their links about the work they do. A great post here from Colin, who responded to the prompt for thinking about sort of the overall structure of what he might do. This is a site called My Gig, and he's thinking a lot of detail, and this may or may not flesh out as sort of a series of categories or tags that he may use to organize the content, but thinking about the possible categories for your content before you even start writing there. Sort of, I tried to make the analogy, it's, when you're building a house, of course, I have never built a house, so I'm the last one to make the analogy, that you kind of do a foundation and build these frameworks before you actually do things like picking out the kitchen color and what kind of sink you're going to put in the bathroom, which are some of the middle or finishing touches. So Colin's done a nice job. And also, I noticed he's using this theme, which I really liked. It's like a nice, simple theme. I think it's called Barkersville or Bakersville's. Comes from this guy, Anders Noren. And here I'm going off on a tangent. Word designer, communication student from Sweden. And so this guy's designed in a number of these really nice themes that are pretty elegant and simple, and that actually I've installed on the TRU box because I like them so much. I've actually been using Radcliffe for a few projects, and so I'm a big fan of these themes. In fact, I just was looking for this one. Yeah, that one's going to work for a project that I'm doing. But now I am off target completely. I will see if anybody's showing up, and probably not. So I'm just going to keep on blabbering away here, and we'll see if there's no response to this. I probably will still do this. That's the way it goes. So you can basically look through all the flow of posts, and it's going to increase because there's a lot of things going on here. There is also you can find this link under the blogging link at the top. there's a list of all of the blogs that have been syndicated to the site. So if I scroll down, we see we got 22 sites coming in here, and out of those, we've pulled in 82 posts, and that's darn fine good because a lot of people, they're just getting started. If you are pretty sure that you've submitted your form and you don't see your blog listed here, one thing is that we can't pull it up on the list till you've actually published something on your blog. Sometimes people just set up the blog and then they submit the URL and there's no post on there. There has to be at least one post for us to be able to, it's a long story, but that's the way the thing works. So if you click on any of these links on the left, like Gail Space, this will go to her blog. But also, if you click on that link, that just sort of gives you a short summary of all the posts from Gail's blog. So Gail got on early. Haven't seen a blog post from you lately, Gail, so get on it. But we know Terry's been quite active, and so we can see we have quite a few posts that we've gotten from Terry's blog, so way to go. And then you can also see the reason we ask you whether you're from TRU, so we have a way that we can list just the blogs from people at TRU, or we can, I don't want to say everybody else, but our open participants, of which we already have a few who are contributing. Christina Hendricks is in here. This woman, Ida, I'm going to mispronounce your last name, sorry, Ida, from Portugal, who just somehow wandered into our site. And then the other thing, because I like randomness, that comes very useful, there's this link called Random Post. And so this comes very useful because I like to encourage, and we'll be doing a lot of this, people to give comments on other blogs. And so sometimes it's like all these blog posts, which one, how do I find one to comment on? Well, I give you the magic link here. So we're going to go back, and we got to Michelle Harrison's site. And so we've got this project, Learning Design Patterns project. So she's doing some good portfolio work. I can tell, look, she's got description of her project, the goals and research plans. She's got some questions and things that she's looking for feedback on. So this is really good. This is really quite good. The only thing that she might add, knowing this theme, is that there is the option to add a featured image, and that's the one that would appear across the top as a nice kind of header. We know that she's dreaming a scheme. We'll look at that link in a second, but I've picked this as a random blog post, and I'm going to just, hi, Michelle. If I can talk and type at the same time. Probably not, I can barely type. If everybody knows my work, it's full of typos. I am demonstrating commenting while doing my open office hours. I used the random syndicated post URL from the U show. Let's see if I can remember this. HTTP / ushow.tru box. It helps to spell out your URL as you type, and it's ushow-random.php and landed here. This is a great example for a portfolio item. Perhaps think about, if appropriate, anything worth linking to. So perhaps for this project, maybe there's a wiki page. I think she does mention the wiki page setup. I hear you. Just a second. I'm doing some screen sharing, and I'm just demonstrating some commenting. So I would just suggest to Michelle to always be looking for things to pay attention to when you're writing on the web is to always think about links. I know a lot of people when they start, it's the first time they've ever done this, they see this box, they type, it's all good, but the web's all about hyperlinks, and I think there's someone here that's going to talk to me about this in a second. So one of the things I really want to encourage people is to think about the hyperlinks as they're going to. And then I like to generally, this is sort of a general strategy, sometimes I suggest for commenting. Start with, what drew you to make a comment? Like, what incited you to draw from the Learning Coaches post? What was the inciting incident that says, this blog post is worth commenting? So it's like, I really like what you're doing here. I like the way you've laid out the idea of your project. Then I make a suggestion, and then I want to close with something nice. So when are we going skiing? Which is kind of not nice because I don't ski. But do a lot of commenting, and that is what we're hoping to do here. I'm curious about Michelle's blog. She says, dreaming of skiing. Sample page, look. She's embedded a video. Embedded video. I love embedded videos. She learned how to embed a video. That rocks. You can never have too many comments, so I'm going to stop sharing because I hear some shuffling around in the room there. Hey, Mike.
Hey, I just saw your tweet, so I just want to see what you're doing.
I'm just I'm here in my office hours, and
yeah.
Typical office hours, you're here alone, so instead of reading the newspaper, I'm just using it to walk through and more or less do Google Hangouts as a screencast since I am recording this.
So what's the big innovation here?
The big
No, I'm serious. I'm not being snarky. I'm just like I've been so involved in my own little world over here in FedWiki that I just wanted to see what you do.
You're actually like coming out of the wiki. Like,
I'm actually like there's a world outside Wiki.
I meant to tweet something snarky about a FedWiki confessional. For it has been 2 weeks. Forgive me, FedWiki, for I have sinned.
Yeah.
This mini 8-week open, we call it an opening seminar that Brian and I are running, is more or less something I've wanted to do. It's like taking a version of DS-106 but making it geared more towards professional development for folks here at Thompson River University. And there's some pushes and desires here for people to do online portfolios. And so, and there's also an interest in having perhaps some of the faculty or researchers get some practice in disseminating their work through the open web. So there's sort of two strands of audiences that we're thinking might be interested. So we're kind of, rather than storytelling for the sake of storytelling, it's sort of like how to use some of those storytelling elements and things like media and sound and video, et cetera, but aimed at doing something of a site for a specific purpose. And so, again, for a lot of people, it's their first foray into WordPress or some other blogging platform. And so we have the usual first week like, oh my God, I've never done this before, or I did it before and I hate it. And so we're trying to make it fun. And so we have this kind of running gaggish theme where the idea of the work we do is sort of being what's on screen, like a movie or a TV show. Which we call front stage, and the thing I always harp on is like the narration in the back of what you did, the John Udell narrating your work through the blog. And so we have these goofy videos we're doing where Brian and I are like these inept show hosts who get on and don't really know the technology, and then we cut to the back room where there's these techie guys who are like, these guys are idiots. They don't know their RSS from a hole in the ground. So the videos are completely unnecessary, but it's kind of the shtick that we're doing.
So is a lot of it about trying to? Sorry, are you answering questions? Am I cutting into you answering questions, or?
You have a question.
So is the goal then? Is part of the goal of the professional community really to get people to share tacit knowledge that is currently not being shared? Is that the ultimate goal?
Yeah, it's They do a lot of online learning here. A lot of it is, learning management system based. They're doing some stuff. They run some courses through WordPress. But I think the idea of people publicly sharing, like you said, their tacit knowledge or how they do things is it's done, but maybe not commonly done. So we're trying to give people kind of an immersive experience for 8 weeks. It's a lot to throw at them, but we had an opening session yesterday. We had 40 people in the room, and turns out there's a new student here who's he does independent film producing. So we have residents, experts. You probably see this all the time, where you meet people on campus who have this amazing skill and knowledge, and you just don't know about it.
And it's fine. It's fine. So that's also what motivates a lot of the work that we're trying to do with the Federated Wiki. It's just different approaches to it. But yes, that's very neat. And how big is the cohort?
Well, I just looked. We have about 22 blogs already plugged in. This is just the first week, and I did much less advanced prep than I had dreamed about.
Yeah.
so the cliche of it's not only building the plane as we're flying; it's going out and shopping for the parts.
Right. Sure.
As we're doing, but we have of course a website and the aggregator that I typically build in. I just implemented today. I've been working on taking the DS106 Daily Create, and now I have it as a WordPress theme, kind of like the assignment bank. So I have a thing called The Daily. I couldn't think of a daily what, so it's just The Daily.
The Daily.
And so we'll be putting out daily similar challenges for people. Like today is to, instead of an elevator pitch, do an elevator tweet. So outline the purpose of your site in 140 characters. And basically share a link to it. We're just trying to get people to both do some things in their web space and then write about them.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
That's it.
So I noticed the interfaces you're using seem to be a little simplified from what people would use in a normal WordPress course. Was that the interface I saw when I just came in? No, that was actually one of the blogs. This is. Do you want the tour again? Well, I don't need the whole tour, but I was just. I'm curious to see. I know that you've been working on. Yeah. Every roadblock you chop down between someone looking at something and adding something is. Yeah. So. Okay, I see. You show. This is the site. I mean, obviously your typical blog stuff, but pushing the top things that we want people to look at. I have this rigged up. Instead of the most recent syndicated post, every time it'll load 8 random ones published in the last 2 weeks. So sort of the flow things, and of course you get your typical linear flow of posts that people are doing. And then, we throw in things like, so we met the director of the Center for Engagement Innovation, Tracy Penny Light, who actually has done a lot of work on portfolios. She's actually, I think she's making her staff take this, as gently as, and we sat down and did like a 5-minute podcast with her. Yeah. And then we're going to have the idea of having some events that go on. So we have what we call Primetime, and so we're going to be bringing in people like week after next, Darcy Norman's coming in. We'll have Alec Kuros. We're having Tanis Morgan from the Justice Institute in Vancouver. So we're kind of tapping into the local network to bring in people to sort of do a general talk, and then also join in on these sessions that we're going to run on Friday. Instead of scheduling like classes, we're calling these open studio time. So Brian and I will be there. We will demo things, but it's for people to sort of bring in their sites and sort of ask questions or say, I can't figure out how to get my menus to work, or why can't my blog interface do this? And so it's sort of a walk-in session, or we'll ask people to show off the work that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit unstructured as to what we're doing. And then this is the new daily thing. So this is today's thing that we have. And so I'm changing it from the way we did DS106, that what you do is, let me go to yesterday's because there's actually some more responses. A photo of the most rewarding thing you do on a daily basis. So basically, people tweet them to this account that we have, and they have to include the tag and then a link to what they did. So Sandra did crossword puzzles. Sheila did a picture. I guess she takes walks on the beaches. I don't think it's a selfie. And I talked about photography. So we're using Twitter as the sort of place for people to contribute things rather than having people that have to upload media.
Yeah.
That's
interesting. That's one of the things I've struggled with FedWiki is how to get people to make those personal connections when the core technology tends to minimize it, right?
Yeah.
But the use of Twitter and pulling into the blog space there is, I think that's a neat solution to it.
We hope so. Like everything, everything's an ongoing experiment.
Yeah, it's all a mystery.
It's fun to do. It's a bit of an adrenaline rush, trying to get things out. And, I'm trying some new things. I'm using Tiny Letter, which you use.
Oh yeah.
As a means for people to opt into notification. And so I just composed my first one. I really love the way their site is set up. It's pretty simple to use.
Yeah.
To create one, and when you compose in the web interface, you can really do some stuff that looks nice when people get it in their email box.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how going back to email is this channel, but it's the one that it reminds people that have kind of fallen off the. It's the one that it's the one that. If you need to contact someone that's kind of gone off the path, that's the one they're going to see, and that's the one that keeps reminding them, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to be doing that thing.
It works, and it's easy enough. I mean, how many microseconds does it take to delete an email? So
yeah, exactly.
And people, and then they actually have it in their history if they forget things. So I don't have any qualms about using retro technology, although I won't use Collaborate, but I guess it's not retro enough yet. But I think it's perfectly fine, and I like that people can opt in, opt out. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm good for that. I'm not doing a podcast series.
Right. Well, this is cool. Well, thanks for showing me that, and I hope when your students watch this, they don't wonder who this weird person dropping in is. I promise I didn't come to pull everyone over to my. I won't do it.
There's nobody there. I can't recruit anybody for FedWiki.
So
I think we want to. Brian wants to invite you up here sometime. We were just talking about doing a thing. I can't remember. Actually, we were thinking the next time we do a jam session, we need to invite you up.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
That's great, and it's nice to see the evolution of Daily Create and some of those things in an environment that is less about the digital media and more about the professional aspects and stuff, because that's something that we've talked about a while about. People sometimes just can't see that that this could be applied much more broadly.
Right.
And they get hung up on what it's being used for in circumstances. They don't see the bigger picture.
Although we'll do animated GIFs, We will.
Oh yeah, well of course you got to do that. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be a course, right? Cool. Anyway, I just wanted to see what you're doing. Thanks for the tour, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for dropping in.
Oh, get back on FedWiki. We need you got that form faster than, it was funny. You were the biggest. I wouldn't say critic, but I mean you were actually you were engaged with the idea, but you may be the most vocally frustrated person. And then you get on it, and I was worried too, because I thought, it's a different style than blogging, right? I mean, you have to think of it differently than blogging. You have to think, how am I building something that's sort of outside of time? And
Yeah.
So I worried that the bloggers coming in would not be able to make that switch. And then what I found was that the people that were the best bloggers were also, I think, some of the best people to do this. That there is something that's transferable there. So we need you back. Kate's
I'll be there.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for tolerating me.
Always, Mike. I always tolerate you. Hi there.
Hi, Alan. My name's Christine. Hello.
Hi, Christine. Where are you from?
Well, I'm in Kamloops.
Okay.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yes.
And the sun is out. I haven't seen the sun for 2 weeks.
And above zero, I think, today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard about this project over the Christmas break. I was talking with Colin Madland,
Mm-hmm.
and he just mentioned that there's a new kind of visual narrative storytelling course. And I'm in the middle of my master's, so I told him, oh, it's not going to work. I won't be able to participate. But I've been watching what people are doing. I was thinking maybe I can kind of join this project and make myself accountable to my master's, kind of collect what I have, document process, share my process, and then so kind of keep me on track. I was thinking maybe. What do you think about that as an idea?
I think it's a great idea. I know how much work I've done a master's, although it was in the Stone Age. But definitely, because usually what I try to think as an idea to explain is like you're like in the most and probably deeply immersed in the work that you're doing. What's your master's on?
It's on mobile photography, photos on the phone, and how it impacts the way we engage with place.
Oh my God! Can you come next week?
Yeah, it's my plan to.
We're gonna do like visual. We're gonna do photography.
Yeah, I saw the breakouts, and I was so excited.
Oh, this was awesome because I like to start with photography because people take pictures all the time, but I just want to expose them to some basics of composition and do some photo prompts. I get them just more or less going out in the world and looking for details and looking at with a photographer's mindset to the world around them. And so that would be great to have you just be a part of what we're doing next week. Thank you.
Just a moment.
Oh yeah, what do I have to do over here?
Is this a hundreds, tens, or ones place?
Oh, that's the
hundreds. That's right. Okay. Sorry, with a sixth child, we're doing math problems at home today.
Hey, you always make room for math.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I got the notice late that it started on like you had the first meeting on Monday or Tuesday. I saw the tweets and I'm like, oh, I missed the first one, but I know there's one tomorrow too.
Yeah, so tomorrow is going to be like a much the presentation part is shorter, but it's going to be a little bit of an overview of my approach to storytelling and then about what we're doing in the U show. So if you can make tomorrow's, that would help. But don't worry about being behind. So whatever you can get out of this. But like I was saying, when you're in the middle of something like a master's thesis or doing some research, at that moment, everything is right there, within reach. And then a year later, a lot of the details
kind of get fuzzy.
They get fuzzy, exactly. That was the word. And so what I have found, because I've been blogging for 11 years now, is that I can go back and I can tell you what I was working on or thinking about or struggling with almost on any day within the last 11 years. But also, it's helpful to look back and sort of see how my own work has evolved. So my approach to blogging is it's for me. So I try to share examples of work, try to talk about what didn't work out well. So it's like journaling in a way. And what we're kind of pitching at is some people are being asked or want to do an online portfolio. So showing their best work. So if you're a mobile photographer, you might show your best work, but also to be writing about for a particular image that you took, talking about, you know, what drew your attention to it? Why did you take it? Did you use any special techniques in photography? Did you do any post editing? What does this, you know, photograph mean to you? So all the background information for stuff that we're showing on a portfolio site. And the other thing is we're looking at people who may be doing research and thinking about using something like a website as a means to disseminate their work in another form than just the typical research paper. So using the affordances of the web, which is, you know, hyperlinks and embedded media, to sort of create a different way, a different platform for publishing.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I really like what you just said about you know, kind of blogging for not only for tracking your notes or where you are in your work, but like I've kind of had a blog for a long time, but I didn't have engagement with others, like feedback and the back and forth, and that's more new to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have at different stages of life, depending which course, at what point I've had that, but I haven't had it for this project, and I'm, you know, shy about getting it out there, but I don't mind. Like I totally don't mind sharing what I'm working on, but I haven't really had a chance to.
Yeah.
So maybe I can join the course, kind of put the processes, just share with the community. It's not a huge community. It's not so daunting. I saw some of the posts I saw people are sharing.
Yeah.
Do I have to create a new blog, or can I just link to a already existing one and just tag it separate? What do you think is?
I mean, for a lot of people, I'm asking them to create something new because they're making a portfolio, but I can't require it. So if you want to use a tag, and obviously you know what that is, which is a good sign. When you fill out the web form, it'll ask you, it'll say something about an RSS feed, but if you just put in the notes, I'm going to tag everything, you know, you show, then we'll just pull those posts. So definitely you can use an existing blog. It just depends if, like, your goal is to, I mean, it sounds like your goal is to do the narration part, which is great. You know, if you're going to say, like, I really want to also create like a portfolio for my thesis, then I might say a different site, but it really doesn't matter. I'm interested actually in more of the process part that people take on as a practice, like you're describing.
Okay. I haven't thought it out. I think some of the first questions, like for the first assignment, kind of made me think. Like, I just don't want to get sidetracked from my master's, you know. I don't want a separate whole project. So when Colin had said it's wonderful, it fits in with what you're talking about, we can do it, and I didn't want to be a separate project. But seeing with the work, what you guys done so far, I think can be integrated. And then after my master's is done, this is something that can continue on. The conversations can continue on.
Yeah, and you can go back. I mean, all the materials that we have, you know, all the videos and the assignments will be there archived. So if you kind of just want to go through it with, like, just to try to keep it aware, so it becomes background for you, and then you know, not devote as much time into, you know, doing as much of the intensive work, but, you know, seeing what you can, if you can get into like a pattern of doing this narration part, if it's useful. I mean, don't do it just because we say it's useful.
I think it is useful because it makes you, it would make me think about process and check in on the process and then say what's working and what's not working. I could talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm always drawn to this metaphor of watching movies on DVD, which starts to sound passé these days. But I always enjoy watching the extras. Like, I like listening to the director's commentary and seeing the outtakes. And I think we don't include that in a lot of the work we do because the emphasis is getting to the final production, which is your thesis, of course, which you do want to get to. But there's a lot of interesting detail in the process that I think gets left behind. So that's the focus that we're taking to help people think about that process part.
Okay. I haven't been active on my research blog, so I think I was thinking if I would join, maybe every post now going forward on my research blog would be just for this period, for the next 8 weeks would be the U show.
Sure, we can do that. Yeah, just use that blog. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I was on the fence. I said I want to talk to you first before I decide if I'm gonna do it.
Perfect. No, I'm glad you stopped by, and I'm really hopefully you can come on Tuesday when we do some stuff on photography, or just that that obviously would be a unit where you could add a lot to in terms of your skills in understanding photography.
Okay. Okay. I'll come by anyway. I'm gonna say hello, and I'll see
Okay.
you and hear you and say hi. So
Okay. Well, thanks so much for dropping in, Christine.
thanks, Alan. See you.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
All right. 2 guests. Not bad. I almost didn't plan on that. Um, I honestly forgot where I was going, but great to see. That was Mike Caulfield, who I've been working with on another project. This thing he's talking about, the Federated Wiki. If you ever run into Mike, he's a brilliant thinker, and he will rope you into seeing how the Federated Wiki is the future of the internet. So let me just think about what I might do with. No one's really going to care whether there is the full hour of this going on. I do see that someone is watching, so hello to someone who's out there watching. Watching is quite fine. I lost my window there, the window. There was one thing I was just going to show, and then I remembered, and then I forgot. Oh, some basic stuff here about, go back to the old tube. So again, many people, Twitter's not new to them, but again, they are. So I have a little information page. So this will show you the tag that we're using in Twitter. But for those, and I've been using Twitter now for a while, so it does seem like secondhand. One thing that is really important, if you use the web interface, which I actually don't use as often, but it is the first one that people come to, is that if you search on the hashtag that we're asking people to use, which is UShow15, you get a list of every post. And I actually switched, I did that rather quickly, I shouldn't go as fast. You get this thing called top, and I think it's a little bit filtered. So I always click the all, which means you get everybody's tweet. So anybody who uses this UShow15 hashtag when they send on a tweet kind of goes into one place. And it's a great way for a group like we're doing that's dispersed to sort of have a common place to ask questions or share information. So here, Ida Brandeo, I can't speak Portuguese, but she's from Portugal. She's sharing some resources and a drawing or diagram that she made related to the shape of stories. This is me announcing this stuff. Mahabali, who is in Egypt, is tweeting stuff with UShow15. We have the daily challenges get sent out with this hashtag. You can see some of the responses, etc. So the search is really one of the key things. So one thing you can do from this is when you do this search, I've already done this, I'll remove it. You can save it, so it becomes a saved search. So anytime when you're out, in Twitterland, and you just go to save searches, you can see I have a couple, that UShow15 will show up. So it's an easy way to check in again on what's going on in the UShow. I happen to use a different tool. I use this one called Tweetdeck, which you can install. It allows you, instead of seeing just one single column, you get multiple columns. So the home is every person I follow. I have a list of, I call them friends, just other people that I wanted to follow more closely. Anytime someone has mentioned me comes in a column. And then I get these saved searches. So you can search on UShow15, and you can see it in here, as I just showed you in the Twitter interface. You can click Add Column. I already have one. And this will create a permanent column of UShow15 tweets that makes it easier to follow. So if you're interested in TweetDeck,
I think it's tweetdeck.com. It'll work in Firefox, or you can actually do a download app. I actually use the Chrome app version that just runs it right in the browser. Getting the hang of Twitter, obviously, is something that is, again, new to people, but it'll be really, it's probably one of the most connective things that we can actually be using in this kind of experience, because it's quick, and generally what will happen is that a lot of times if you send me an email and I respond, there's only two people who are part of that conversation, and your question might be useful to someone else. So we kind of like to ask people to put this question out in the open. The other thing is that I may be off skiing somewhere, highly unlikely. But if I'm not there to answer your question, someone else will answer, and that's the beauty. So ask questions, share resources, put links to your work out there with a UShow15 hashtag, and you'll get people come into your site to look and maybe give you some feedback, or to say, hey, why don't you come do a presentation for us in Australia? I can't promise that'll happen, but you never know. So this is the end of the office hours, and I thank Mike and Christine. I'm really excited to meet Christine, who is doing a really interesting master's thesis on mobile photography, and so she's trying to figure out how she can squeeze in doing some blogging and user activity, and that's really exciting. And with that, I will stop this broadcast. It'll be archived and will be tweeted, and it'll be added to the event listing on the UShow site. So get out there. If you're already in the UShow, just try some short, simple blogging. You know, think about it. I tell people it's like writing an email to yourself and reflect. You know, and it can be not necessarily just trying to think about the topics or the portfolio. Say you're reading something online, or you catch an interesting TED Talk or magazine article, or you have an experience at your kid's school that somehow triggers an idea or a thought, or just kind of catches your curiosity. And so pay attention to those things that kind of tickle your curiosity, and make a blog post out of it. Just like a note to yourself, like, I found it interesting that the woman serving me coffee over at Common Grounds was reading Great Expectations. I'm just making crap up. And then just see where that idea leads you. Why do you find things interesting, and what does it relate to? And again, use hyperlinks, use media. Drop in Friday if you're at TRU. Brian and I will be in the Innovation Lab, which is on the 3rd floor of Open Learning room. I think it's 346. We'll be there 10 to 11 a.m. and 1 to 2:30-ish. Bring your stuff in, and it's not me and Brian telling you stuff. We'll do some demos if you really want, but it's kind of you coming in with some stuff you want to work on. So bring that, and think ahead to next Tuesday. We'll be running a session on finding images and using them in your blog, and some basic photography suggestions. One of the best ways to find images, you know, instead of looking for them on the internet, is to take them yourself. So we're going to try to help you amp up your own photographic capability, and hope to see you there. If not, well, we'll see about what we can do. I understand the Hangout, the audio was not really good last time, so we're always experimenting, always be improving, as someone probably said before. And this is Alan in the office suite of the UShow, and hopefully, you know, if this is useful, I'll try to do this every week. It's kind of fun, and otherwise I end up just using it as a little bit of a screencasting and showing things off. So get out there and do some blogging, will ya? Bye.